Good evening, I'm Taylor Thomas with the CTV News Update. The Prince George's County Council convened today to discuss and vote on a number of measures presented last session. One of the most controversial bills before them was CB 14 2020.
There was a map amendment passed in April of last year, and it took properties like Woodmore Town Center, where Wegmans and Costco and Best Buy are open and operating and have been since 2010, and it made many of those uses illegal. So CB 77 was passed that said if you have an established property that's already developed, then you get to use the zoning that occurred when the time you were built. Seemed like a good fix. CB 14 would repeal that, and unfortunately that would mean many of our tenants are unlawful uses right away. So we're very thankful the council, they're working on a solution. They're going back and revisiting the comprehensive map amendment to find a solution to the problems that it created, and B, they're holding off on repealing the temporary fix.
Now, it's unclear when both sides of the issue will meet to discuss a compromise. Now, if you missed today's public hearing, you can go to the council's website tomorrow and view it under the live stream. Several advocacy groups are filing a lawsuit against the state in an effort to better protect kids in foster care. Disability Rights Maryland, the ACLU of Maryland, and Children's Rights have filed suit against Maryland's Department of Human Services. The group claims that the use of psychotropic medications have, quote, run rampant in the state foster care system. The group says that they don't want to ban these drugs for kids in foster care, but they want better oversight. The lawsuit alleges that the state has inadequate medical records of kids in foster care and inadequate consent of review of drugs.
So to correct the deficiencies and violations of federal law, the lawsuit asks that the state make systemic changes to their medical records, policies and procedures, their informed consent policy review, and their secondary review system. These are urgent matters, and there's real children and families behind the numbers and statistics that we cite today, and the children are at significant risk of harm.
The advocacy groups hope that the Moore administration will address the serious issue. Closing arguments were held today in the rape trial involving a former Fairmont Heights police officer. 33-year-old Martique Vanderpool is charged with raping a woman he arrested following a traffic stop. Vanderpool is also accused of exposing women to HIV. The jury in the case was expected to begin deliberations later this afternoon. If found guilty, Vanderpool faces life in prison. One person is dead following an apartment fire in Laurel. The deadly incident happened here at an apartment building on the 500 block of Main Street late Monday afternoon. When crews arrived, they found smoke coming from the complex. While there was no visible damage on the outside, officials say they found one person dead inside of an apartment. No word yet on what caused the fire. All right, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers. It shows a steady decline in the county's positivity rate. It now stands at 15.05%, down from 19% earlier this month. The state has confirmed 828 new cases. 14 Marylanders have died of COVID over the past 24 hours, and 747 people are hospitalized with the virus. You're watching CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Back in a moment.
A waterfall made of fire. Goats that defy gravity. A turning point in history. A palace carved out of clay. A place where we grew wings. A thunderstorm beneath your feet. An eternal torch and an enduring dream. National parks are extraordinary. So is the support you give them.
Good evening and welcome back. Maryland swears in its first ever female comptroller. The civil rights attorney from Baltimore took the oath of office yesterday, the first woman in Maryland history to hold the job. Learman was elected during a landslide in November to be the chief tax collector. She will also administer several tax-related programs and IT services, as well as pay the state's bills.
There's no part of our government that touches more people each and every day than the comptroller's office. And so its mission and its function must be focused on ensuring that the garment that we are weaving is fair, is equitable. It's focused on building financial resilience for our people and our state.
Until this week, only white men had served as Maryland comptroller. Maryland Governor-elect Wes Moore today announces another round of cabinet appointments. They include Jake Day and Kevin Atticks to head the Housing and Agriculture departments, Serena McIlwain and Carol Beatty to run the Environment and Disabilities Department. Josh Kurtz will lead Natural Resources, and Rebecca Flora will run the planning agency. Carmel Raquez has been named to lead Aging, and Kevin Anderson has been appointed Secretary of Commerce. Maryland's outgoing governor is leaving with a big job approval rating. A new poll indicates that Governor Larry Hogan will walk away with a 77% job approval rating. It shows Hogan with an 81% job approval rating among Democrats and Black voters. The poll, which was conducted by Gonzalez Research and Media Services, involved more than 800 registered voters. More news and sports right after the break. Stay with us.
And coming up, I'll be talking about the Wizards' recent struggles and previewing some great high school basketball matches that are being played tonight. Stay right there.
Hey, look, this pandemic, it just isn't over yet. We got the vaccines. I got mine. You might have yours. But listen to this. Don't think just because you got the vaccine that you could just go crazy. Just follow the current safety guidelines. I know the mask is hot, but you know what's hotter than these masks? Staying healthy. That's pretty fly if you ask me. Let's unite to prevent.
Good evening and welcome back. TSA officers found that people were packing a lot more than toiletries in their carry-on bags this past year. 89 handguns were stopped at airport security checkpoints in the Baltimore-Washington region in 2022. This is nearly a 24% increase from 2021. 6,542 firearms were caught at TSA checkpoints nationwide. 88% of these firearms were loaded. TSA advises travelers to familiarize yourself with your state and local firearm laws. Maryland home sales fell nearly 21% in 2022. According to the latest Maryland Realtors Housing Statistics Report, nearly 85,000 units were sold last year compared to 107,000 in 2021. December sales were down significantly, nearly 42%. Meantime, average home sale prices in Maryland are up slightly to about $433,000.
The Washington Wizards have had a tough stretch as of late. With yesterday's 127-118 loss versus the Golden State Warriors, they have now lost 5 of their last 6 games. Wizards guard Monte Morris spoke on how Bradley Beal returning from injury will help right the ship and how he stays in good spirits despite the team's struggles.
When we, can put him back into the lineup and the rotations, I feel like, we're going to take off. I feel like at the end of the day, we're not getting blew out by teams. We win it. The games we do win, they may be close or, stuff like that. But we've shown flashes of what we, can be. So we're not out here just losing by 25, 30 points. So I just, tilt my hat on, if we just stay with it, don't get down on ourselves and just keep doing it, the odds got to turn, So we just got to come in and keep trying to get better.
The Wizards are now 18-26 and will play their next game against the New York Knicks tomorrow at 7:30. Moving on to high school basketball, the Flowers High School boys basketball team will be taking the court against Laurel tonight at 7 o'clock. And the Eleanor Roosevelt High School girls basketball team will be taking the court against Suitland tonight at 7 o'clock as well. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Well, if you've been a home gardener for a while, then you know seeds can accumulate over time. But what should you do with all those old seeds? Toss them out or test them? Kevin Alsop of Nemus Gardens joins us for another segment of Grow With Us. Byron Scott has our segment.
And we're back this new year with another version of Grow With Us. Joining us, Kevin Alsop of Nemus Gardens. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, bro. How
All right.
Everything's good?
Yes, it is. And we're talking about seed testing. There's a display here of seeds that we're going to talk about just now. Right. What is seed testing and why is it important?
Seed testing is just what it's called. It's testing your seed to make sure it's viable,
You don't want to put seed in the ground that's not going to germinate because it's going to waste time and resources. So you test the seed.
And these are old seeds.
Old seeds. These seeds right here, except for one, the newer one, Moringa, are at least 4 years old from 2018.
And so how does someone do the process of testing? I see you don't use soil. What happens? How do you work it?
Well, we don't, the important reason we don't use soil, because if the seed doesn't germinate, you done wasted soil, which is wasted resources. And so we just use basic household products, paper towel, distilled water. You want to use distilled unchlorinated water to give you your best options, and just a regular baggie.
And so how do you set this up, and what are we looking at here?
Okay, so what we're looking at here is seeds these seeds were sowed on this seed testing rack on the 1st of January. And so, as you can see, we have quite a few that sprouted. Now these I just sowed the other day. These are moringa seeds that I'm just trying to see if they're going to germinate.
And so you put them on the foil, on the paper, you wet the paper, right, cover it with the plastic to keep it warm, and then you hope they germinate. And if they do, then what happens?
Well, we definitely cover with the plastic because we want to create some type of humidity type environment to keep the moisture in. And then once you see the seeds germinate, you can place them in the pots to start the growing process inside of soil once you see they're germinated.
So they shouldn't go outside at this point.
Oh, no, they're not ready to go outside. You want these seeds were placed in this pan with this paper towel, and I sat them on top of my refrigerator. If you have a sunny windowsill, that'll work too. Now I'm using a bigger tray because I used a lot of seeds, different varieties of seeds that I'm testing.
How long should it take for them to germinate? How do you know though if they are good to go, so to speak?
My rule of thumb is always read the seed packet. If you read the back of the seed packet, it says it should take 7 to 14 days to germinate, then you expect it to germinate between 7 to 14 days. Okay. That's if you kept it in the right environment, in a warm area. The house is a great place because most people keep it 70 degrees and above. I put it on top of the refrigerator. It gets the lights from the regular room. And so if you put it in good conditions, it should germinate within this time to seed.
So if someone has questions for you on what to do and how to set this up, what's the email address?
Email address is info@Nemas Gardens. That's info at Nemas, Nemas Gardens, GARDENS.com. Nemas Gardens is one word.
Okay, and once again, Kevin Alsop, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Kevin really does want to hear from you. That email address again is info@nemasgardens.com. Let's get a quick check now on our 3-day weather forecast tonight. Patchy fog after 9 p.m. Otherwise partly cloudy with a low around 40 degrees. Expect more fog tomorrow morning. Then after 8 a.m. we'll gradually see sunny skies. Temperatures ranging from 57 to a low 40 degrees. Thursday will be a rainy day. Temperatures will peak at about 56 degrees and fall as low as 42 degrees. Friday's forecast, the rain will clear out and it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 51 degrees. Well, that's our wrap-up of CTV News for tonight. I'm Taylor Thomas. Good night.
Younger, looking out into the landscape of TV. I didn't see many trans women. We need to be in the writers' rooms, on camera, and making decisions behind the scenes, telling our own stories so that people can learn how to treat us, because our stories inform how we're seen and valued. Especially being a Black trans woman, when we are not included in the picture, we are relegated to the shadows. So to give opportunities to trans people, it's life-saving. If you can see her, you can be her.